Greetings and welcome to the Dr. J Vlog series. It's Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025, and on Tuesdays we talk about music and the arts. And this week, the theme of the Dr. J Vlog series is honesty. So let's be honest. Are you a creative genius? Well, that might be too strong a term. If you're not a creative genius or you don't see yourself that way, do you at least excel in certain realms of music or the arts? Probably. I think most people have at least some kind, and maybe sometimes many forms of artistic talent. Perhaps there's at least one area where you think or you know that you excel, or that perhaps you tend to be better than most, if you will. Not that it's a competition, but you stand out, if you will, in that area. And so my challenge to you today is to identify at least one specific creative art where you have a special talent. You have an ability to really be able to excel, if you haven't already committed your life, that you could actually do something really special in at least one particular realm. So in some cases, as I say, it's already obvious. You've already committed your life. It's maybe what you do professionally. So it might be something that you've been doing quite literally for your entire life. In terms of creative writing or poetry, for example. Maybe you started dancing as a youngster and you're exceptional these days. Are you a visual artist or someone who can sketch or draw or paint or stitch or sculpt? Do you have a special gift in terms of architecture or photography or various forms of design? Maybe film is your medium. Or do you have a certain creative zeal in working with wood or metal? Something else. Maybe you have a great voice, a singing voice, maybe a speaking voice as a storyteller. And many of you have studied an instrument, maybe several instruments, and you might be quite adept musically these days. So obviously I've not exhausted the possibilities, but the point is for you to identify at least one special area where you feel that you can, or at least you've always had an interest in that aspect of the creative arts or music, and perhaps you'd like to be able to pursue that if circumstances permitted, shall we say. So, all right, what is your special area or areas? But at the very least, choose one. Have you done that? And then second, are you currently pursuing or honing that creative talent? And if so, and you're happy with that commitment, then that's great. You can perhaps stop watching the vlog right now, today at least. Get back to practicing or doing whatever it is that you're doing. But if you're not currently following your passion, if you will, if you're not pursuing or exercising your creative abilities, or not doing it enough, then the question would be, well, why not? What's holding you back? What's keeping you from exercising your creative genius? Is it the usual restrictions of time and money, those adult problems we confront more than anything else, or too many other obligations? And ultimately, you have a lack of energy left over after you've met all your obligations? Have you just set aside your creative energies for a period of time? Maybe it's a life stage issue, at least until you can reconnect and renew or make a new commitment. Are you holding yourself back because of self-doubt, or perhaps past failures, or even some kind of horrific experience or traumatic experience that's associated with past pursuits or past efforts? Are you struggling with mental health challenges, such as severe anxiety or depression, or just mental fatigue from all the other facets of your complex life? Are you living in an environment that's not conducive to pursuing your creative hobbies? Maybe because of space limitations, literal physical limitations in that sense, or because you have housemates or family, too many people maybe living around you. Well, I say too many people, meaning you have to be considerate of others and their living situations. And some people even actually fear the success or the transformative power that they might experience with their creative pursuits. And the reason that they fear that, in part, is because of oftentimes the impending changes that could stimulate, or that are implicated if they do have some success. And if we're then seeing those changes occur, that can create some discomfort. We are creatures of habit. So, have you simply lost your childlike wonder, that imagination? You no longer feel inspired like you used to be as a child. Maybe it's something else that's holding you back. So what's the answer? And again, that's where you need to be honest with yourself. Whatever your situation, I really want to encourage you then to take some time and turn that lens of honesty inward and be honest with yourself. What's the real answer to the question, why aren't you pursuing your creative interests or talents? Take a good, hard look at yourself and your life and your lifestyle, and identify the factors that you need to address in order to re-engage yourself, your pursuit of your own artistic talents. You can write these down if you like, or type them out, or talk with a trusted friend or even a therapist. But I want you to start a conversation, at the very least, with yourself. And as you work through your reasoning, maybe even the classic set down the pros and cons, strengths and weaknesses, but I'd like to ask you to imagine doing at least one thing that you've always wanted to do creatively, or that you're doing but you're not really doing enough of. So I want you to be able to identify and then actively start to take steps to pursue that special talent, that creative talent that you have. You need to visualize yourself actively engaging in the activity, imagining the possibilities. And then, what steps will you take concretely to actually pursue your creative abilities? So, and here you have to be a little bit practical too, right? So in other words, can you, for example, create space in your current living environment? Maybe not. You might have to go elsewhere. You're going to have to do some problem solving in that regard. Can you carve out the time necessary in your schedule and then commit to that, for example, at least once a week, more if possible? Can you save up some money to buy the art supplies or the starter instrument, or to take the dance lessons that would be required? And yes, you would ideally like to be able to rally some of the troops behind you. Find someone in your family or a close friend or a partner, someone who can encourage and continue to support you. Maybe even do a little bit of coaching. Bottom line is it helps if we have others in our corner, especially when we're trying new things and things that we're maybe a little bit afraid of or not comfortable with or what have you. And certainly pursuing a creative art in your own lives would be just such a change. And it'd be great to have somebody else, in your corner backing you along. So I'm serious. This isn't just a vlog that I'm doing today. I actually want this to be something of a wake-up call, okay? A bit of the spark, if you will, that lights the creative impulses on your part, that lights your creative fires. And I deeply believe in this, because you'll notice I said I actually used the term intentionally, creative fires. Not the destructive fires, not the wildfires that destroy nature. And so this is what I want to try and encourage everyone to do. In their own ways, in their own words, in their own space, in their own time. So if you haven't already, I'd like you, if you will, to join the creative revolution, the creativity revolution, if you will. So for most people, you'll immediately start to see the benefits in your own life, in your mood, in your well-being, once you've started. There may be some frustrations too, to be sure, but recognize that that's normal too. The most important thing is to make that firm commitment and then follow through, at least for a period of time. And be realistic. Maybe start with a goal of once a week for the next 4 weeks. That's doable. That's realistic. And if you can then start to carve out more time, great. So here's the key point. If you're busy spending at least some of your time and energy pursuing your creative abilities, what are you not doing? By definition, you're not doing the opposite. You're not exercising your destructive abilities. You're not tearing things down or destroying the world in some way or another. And that's, again, the revolution that I'm talking about. It's not some abstract, airy-fairy ideological thing. It's really all about the fact that each of us can pursue something creative. And in so doing, we are revolutionizing our own lives and the world around us. And that's not an exaggeration, okay? It's the revolution of each of us in terms of, creating music in some form or another, or some other type of art, or this or that medium. And imagine using all of that energy that you might have used in wasteful ways previously, or hurtful or harmful ways, in complaining or worrying or whatever, and then redirecting those energies to your creative pursuits. Wouldn't that be a great thing? Okay? So again, it's not that you and I will necessarily create something that's going to go viral or that blows people away. Maybe it's just something quite personal, something you can take pride in, maybe share with a few intimate, family and friends. The point is to build that creative pursuit into your everyday life. And as I say, the more you do that, less time and energy and inclination you'll have to do the opposite. Okay? And then again, once you've done that, you'll continue to grow and develop and be happier yourself. And all else equal, you should find yourself part of a larger community too. And ultimately, connecting with the world in different ways that you perhaps hadn't even thought about. So just remember, again, as long as you're engaged in something creative, you're on a good path. You're on the right path, whatever that might be for you. And the more time you spend on that path, again, the less time you'll have on your hands, the less time, you'll be tempted to head down a destructive path, okay? Just don't become one of those tortured geniuses who's unable to stay grounded in reality or ends up just suffering from a drug addiction or what have you, okay? So I'm talking about finding then a healthy balance ultimately between your creative pursuits and the other important facets of your life, both professionally and personally. And if you can do that, you'll almost certainly continue to be part of the solution to humanity's problems and struggles. And again, this is just something that you can literally start to do every day. And that's the revolution. All right. And if nothing else, you'll at the very least be helping yourself to find a better and more creative and fulfilling life. And so bottom line, get started on your creative pursuits. Again, identify what's holding you back and then take active steps today to start at least planning for and then setting goals to re-engage your creativity. And as ever, I want you to continue to create peace in your lives, nurture love in your hearts, and dole out hugs in abundance. And hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow too. Take care.